Welcome to the Modern Ideas for Business podcast. I'm your host, Paul Duran. Our mission is simple: to bring you insights and experts you need to lead with clarity in a rapidly changing world. Today, we're joined by LinkedIn top voice, Richard Bliss, to discuss why your current LinkedIn strategy may be crashing your reach and how the new AI algorithm is changing everything. Let's dive in. Richard, it's great to have you back with Modern Ideas for Business. You were one of our most popular speakers on our webinar series, and people love hearing and want to know about how to use LinkedIn just more effectively. And I know you've had a great deal of interest because LinkedIn helped generate it for you.
They did.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so why don't you just about 30-second, 1 minute overview of how you came about on LinkedIn? How did you trip into LinkedIn as being one of your main platforms that you wanted to focus on?
I was the chief marketing officer for a software company, and the founder fired me and gave my job to my wife. And that placed me in an awkward situation, true story, and ex-wife now. And so I suddenly had to reinvent myself after nearly 20 years of being really established in my industry, traveling the world, speaking in 22 countries, on CNN. I was the man. And suddenly now I've got to reinvent myself. And so this has been a few years ago, I started learning social media, learning LinkedIn, learning to blog, to podcast. I wrote a book. It was terrible. Self-edited, spelling errors on the back cover. Not a good idea. Pay for an editor. But the point is that I had to make this shift. And the shift happened a while ago, this pivot. And yet in today's world, LinkedIn is it. LinkedIn is who we are now. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, right? They're whatever. But LinkedIn, no, it's really hard to lie. It becomes your digital identity. It's the book I recently wrote called Digital First Leadership. It's all about this is who we are. And now, especially with COVID, we present ourselves online long before we meet anybody in person. And LinkedIn's where it happens.
So you've been studying this stuff now for years, like you said.
I have.
And you've been seeing the changes.
I have.
So recently in November,
2025, yep.
LinkedIn rolled out 360 Brew. And I think that's caused some confusion out there. How would you're laughing because I'm understating a bit, but what is the biggest LinkedIn myths right now? What are you seeing? What kind of clarity would you have? Whatever your choice would be on that.
Well, one thing is a lot of people are screaming about it. And because everybody's reach went down, everybody's impressions went down, LinkedIn, I have heard it all. And you're complaining that the free platform you've been operating on, and now might not be free. Some are using Sales Navigator, some are using LinkedIn Premium. But the point here is that LinkedIn realized that the system they had been using for 15 years, I refer to it as a mechanical system. If anybody's heard me speak, and I know you have, and over the years, it was a scoring system, a ranking system. Yeah. Hey, you get a number of comments, you get a number of likes, you get a number of reshares, you get comments in the first hour. You've heard me say all of that. And LinkedIn's like, that's not really accurate. And now with technology, they said, why don't we rip all of that out and stick in an AI engine that's smart enough to read the content, not just count the clicks. And that's what happened, is that suddenly now all of us have been gaming the system, hacking the system, trying to figure out the mechanics. And then LinkedIn's AI came along and said, I don't think so. And suddenly we all crashed, appearance of crash. What's really happened, Paul, is that we've become focused. LinkedIn has taken our content, our persona, and focused it, which means it's not being shouted to everybody anymore. And I got to tell you, it's the LinkedIn influencers, the broetry bros, hey, I can't believe that last week I lived in a van and I met a homeless man and he turned out to be the CEO that I was interviewing with, right? You've heard those dumb stories. Yeah. And LinkedIn's AI engine says, that's not really valuable. So we're not going to give you credit for that anymore. So here's what happened. LinkedIn stopped ranking posts and it started evaluating people. And that's a big change because most people are not prepared for this shift. And I can explain why, but I don't want to go too on.
No, but this is a topic we could go hours on, actually, I think. But
I just did a workshop this morning for an hour and a half. I've done a 2-day workshop in Las Vegas for 16 hours. This content, we can just keep going and going. So you got to shut me up and stop me. And
No, because I'm interested in it too. And I always have enjoyed your presentations. But what I'm seeing now and what I've been reading is that what LinkedIn really did was bring a multiple of algorithms, these things between comments, jobs, whatever it was, and brought it into
a unified system that now understands what's being posted. Well, it reads what's being posted. It reads who's posting. It's reading your value. Before it was just mechanics, click. And now it's stopped. And it's just like using your word processor and now using Claude or ChatGPT. It's not the same thing, right? I can have ChatGPT write me a document, or I can go to Word and write a document. But now along comes AI. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and read this, figure out who it is. Let me tell you what's going on here, if you don't mind.
Oh, go for it.
So here's the big changes that everybody listening needs to be aware of. And I said it before, is that LinkedIn's it's not ranking your posts anymore. And you're not competing against other people's posts anymore. It's not a competition. LinkedIn ripped all that out. What's happening is that when your post goes live on LinkedIn, starts to evaluate several things. You referred to it, these different algorithms. The first thing it evaluates is you. It reads your about section. It reads the first 2 lines and it reads the last 2 lines to figure out, who are you? And not, hey, I've done this in my job. I've been doing this since the late 1900s, 40 years of this. It's like that. So what does the number of years you've been doing it have anything to do with your value you bring today? And I know some people would argue, oh no, I'm seasoned. Really? I started at WordPerfect Corporation in 1989. I don't think anything from that era, floppy disks and covered wagons, has anything to do with technology today. So we got to be careful. And now the AI is reading that saying, you're implying you have experience, but you're not actually demonstrating it. So it's reading our about section in a way as if a senior AI consultant would be sitting down with us and talking to us and saying, let's see what you know, not what you've done. Let's see what you know. It's then doing something else. It's now going to determine if your content that you just posted is actually worthy of interrupting somebody's day. Is that content any good? Or is it an announcement? Or is it a puff piece? Or is it just a, hey, I was at this event. Look at me. I was on stage. Hooray for me. And then LinkedIn's like, so what? You were at that. What did you take away from that? And then the last one, it goes and checks to see if you have been consistent in your behavior on their platform over time. And I don't mean, oh, I've been posting every week or every day. It's like, no, have you, and this comes back to the comments, have you been participating in other people's conversations on this topic that you want to be known for? So the challenge is that LinkedIn now looks at us and sees that we're fragmented. We commented on somebody's post over here about a friend. We did this about basketball. We did that about something. Oh, we make a post about our subject matter, and LinkedIn's algorithms like, you are all over the map. I have no idea who to show you to. So we're just going to reduce your reach and let you just sit there, because this person over here is super focused on a topic, and we're going to throw their content in front of the audience because we are confident that they know what they're talking about.
So it sounds, I have a couple of things here, but so for the business owner out there, and they're just being introduced to, or they're hearing about 360 Brew and what's going on, how would you describe what they should be doing to optimize? What would you say, just some real quick points are that they need to look at? It sounds like the profile.
The profile is number one. That's number one. Also, it's number one, and it can't read a resume. And if you don't have an about section, then you don't exist. I don't know what you do or who you do or the value you bring or who you service. So you're invisible. And so that about section becomes a critical component. And it's not a resume cover letter. It is you sitting down with an AI senior consultant who knows your business and is going to talk to you through that about section to see if you solve people's problems. And you can't just tell them, I'm passionate about blah, undocumented history of blah. No, that's not how people talk to it. That's going to be number one. Number two is you need to be active. You need to show that you have a presence out there. Your digital identity is now where people judge you, and the AI is judging you. And if you don't show up anywhere, then your competitors who are showing up, and when I mean show up, I mean, they're out there commenting on customers and partners and vendors, and they're adding their subject expertise into areas. And then a leader is going to say, I don't have time to do that. Then don't complain when nobody comes looking for you, because You got to put in the work to be a president. This is what I've told people for years, Paul, and you've
Yeah.
heard me speak for years. And one of the things I've always said is, look, would you pass up the opportunity of standing on stage in front of 6,000 of your best customers and have their attention for 30 minutes? And the answer is no, of course not. That's LinkedIn. If you take the time to show up, engage with value, create content that people like and not like with the freaking loser thumb, but where they stop and engage with it, then LinkedIn's like, hey, you've got something to say. We're going to throw you in front of other people who are interested in that topic. Lo and behold,
I think you're headed down a direction that you've been consistent on that has, I think, really shown to weather time, whether it's mechanical scoring, as you say, or AI or anything, which is engagement. And you've been
when we talk about engagement, we're talking about not the universal thumb.
Right.
We're talking true value-added engagement with comments that drive a conversation. Yes.
And that's what I'm picking up on, and what I've been reading and everything is that quality. It's a shift to quality, not just congratulations, you got a promotion or whatever. Are you adding value?
Are you adding value?
Are your comments over 5 to 12 words? Are you doing more than just liking or reposting or something? It's what value do you bring to this platform is kind of what I'm seeing.
Absolutely. Because, and it comes back to a basic fundamental, and that is the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, they're all driven by ad revenue. That means their algorithm is designed to reward their customer. That's the person paying for the ad is trying to get access to the product. We're the product. And so the algorithm is not designed to benefit us. It's designed to benefit the customer. But on LinkedIn, we're the customer. We have LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, LinkedIn Recruiter. We're the customer. And so LinkedIn's algorithm is designed to reward us. And that means behavior like hashtag stacking, a wall of mass tagging, resharing posts, right? None of this is valuable, especially if you were in a conversation at a networking event. Would you be valuable if you ran around, started going, hashtag that? Oh, here's my brochures here. Let me hand out. No.
I mean, it just, so I'm just, as I'm seeing that, so
it's optimizing for relevancy.
It's fair to say that you building profile and showing that you topic.
And you
demonstrating
by
on the comments too.
And then articles and newsletters have done a renaissance because before, over the years, I've always argued that they were worthless. They just sat there and nothing happened. Not anymore, because somebody's reading them. You're reading them. The AI engine is reading your long form content and getting a deep sense of and that means these articles or newsletters, they're basically the same thing, are starting to generate significant value to the algorithm. It's really struggling to generate value. Video. The AI is not going to watch your video. It's not.
No, it was interesting because 2 years ago they decided to emphasize it. Then they de-emphasized. And so
they're trying to stay relevant to the Gen Z crowd who's coming. Yeah. The challenge is that we don't consume business conversations and influence information on video the same way we do on social. And so that's been the challenge, is that a video, I can't remember it. I can't cut and paste it. I can't highlight something. You say something in 10 seconds in, and 30 seconds in, I've forgotten what it is because we moved to something else. I can't go back. So there's so many limitations to video that while it's great visual, it's not necessarily great for communicating information.
Interesting. Because I'm also hearing and seeing infographics are now outperforming carousels. It's always been the flip-flop of that. And
it is. Now there's reason for that. Yeah. And this is an interesting one that you've brought up. One of the strongest signals of the value of your content is how many people save it, not share it, not repost it, not even comment on it, but how many people saved it. And infographics tend to be saved because they're hard to read. And so you save it to come back to it, to be able to reference it. And so it increases the save rate, which then increases the now signal. Well, that was so good that person was willing to save it. And so infographics now are doing much better. Well, the carousels are still doing okay, but I might not save the carousel, but I'll save that infographic because it's kind of cool. I'm going to put that over here so I can come back to it later. And that's one of the biggest changes that's happening.
I started to watch that. I've been doing carousels for a while. I started to watch now. Everyone's doing carousels. So I went to infographics last year.
Right.
I wasn't trying to beat the algorithm. It was just more condensed and easier to read.
Right. And now not only is it easier to read, to some degree, but it's easier to save because it conveys more value that I want to come back to.
So let's go back for the business owner. I mean, a lot of people have preached about posting all the time and consistency in posting. And I don't think there's necessarily something wrong with that, but what would you, for a person who's posting a lot, what single behavior would you say would most improve their visibility?
Slow down. When you say posting a lot, I'm assuming you're meaning posting every day. That's a lot. And here's how it's going on. You're starting a conversation on day one, Monday. You start a conversation. Before you let that conversation even run, on Tuesday, you start a new conversation. And before that conversation finishes running, on Wednesday, you start a new conversation. And the algorithm's like, hang on, slow down, dude. Do you have anything you want to talk about and stick to for a little while? Because only one post is promoted at a time. And so when the first post goes live on Monday, let's suppose it's a hot topic and people want to talk about it. Well, if you post the next day about some event coming up, boom, you've just shut down the first post. And now it's this nothing post. You need to let it run. And sometimes 2-3 times a week is optimal. And research has shown, you and I referenced this, Richard Vanderblom's research has shown that if you post every day, the average reach of your post, average, drops by about 45%. So nearly half of the audience, because you are too frequent. Think about it again. I always come back to the networking event. You're at a networking event, and I saw a person do this recently. You run from little to little group, start a conversation, run to the next one, and then back again. You can't do that effectively. And I did see some guy trying to do that. He was just running around from one group. I was watching it.
I'll tell you stories offline about that, but you watched a lot of that.
Right. So that's what's happened on LinkedIn. So 2-3 times a day. Now, some people are going to argue, hey, cumulatively, I got more impressions on 5 posts or 7 posts than I did on 3 posts. You can argue with me. You can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you that you don't have to post every day to maintain your numbers. Actually, it'll probably be easier on you, and it helps you be more focused.
Now, there's another thing I've been reading just to cut it. We got to start closing up here, but is AI content in your post or using AI content, AI generated content in post.
Yeah. Let's be clear. Everybody's using AI generated content. So my last newsletter at the bottom, it says, of course I'm using AI content. Here's the tools I use to help create this. One of the things I do when it comes to AI content, and I did this morning, and when I got an email from one of the people in my session this morning saying that was brilliant. This is what I do. I got a topic I want to write about. One that I'm talking about right now is gameplay inside of AI to introduce familiarity. So I'm going to say, look, start me a gameplay. Write me a post on this. I go to chat. Usually I go to chat first. Chat spits this thing out. I then take it to Claude. Hey, I just wrote this because Claude's got my voice really good. What do you think? And Claude will come back and say, well, it's not too bad, but this, and I don't tell the two of them that they're dating. I then take it and say, all right, I now want you, once the two of them have fought it over and I've come up with a draft, I'll now say, I now want you to interview me. And I want you to interview me about every one of the points that are mentioned in this article to get my own insights, to get my own inspiration, to get my own anecdotal stories.
And I think, Richard, what you're touching upon is kind of a side note, but is prompt engineering and pushing these models, the ChatGPTs, the Gemini, and all that, into not just, hey, I'm your search engine, but it's, hey, give me some insights. What do you think here? And I think that's pushing you to develop better content or better marketing material, whatever you're trying to do. The average person has 1 turn on AI, and the good people are doing 10 or more turns right now. So anyway, it's a side. But let's go stick to what we're talking about today. So what is the biggest mistake smart professionals will be making a year from now? What do you think given everything?
A year from now is thinking that they had time a year ago to figure this out. Honestly, you were just talking about AI. Somebody the other day said, well, in 5 years, I'm thinking 5 years, right? We move month to month, week to week. So the biggest challenge is, and I've encountered this all the time, I'll have executives I've worked with in the past who all of a sudden come to me and, oh, hey, I just got riffed. I know we talked a couple of years ago, but can you help me get my resume together? And no, that was what you should have been doing a year ago. So a year from now, the biggest mistake will be that executives think they have the time to get around to this. executive salespeople, marketing people, recruiters. No, right now, go read the first line of your about section and the last line of your about section and see if you were to read that independently, would an AI engine or a consultant figure out what you do and the value you bring? So start making those changes immediately. And otherwise, you're going to start to fall behind. This is an accelerating race, and you're going to fall behind.
I know we're starting to get long on time here, so I don't want to take it too long, but I do want to give you a chance to talk about where people can find you and your content. I follow you. I've got your text messages, and I follow you on LinkedIn, obviously, and you have a certain way you write your name.
With the dot in front of my name, yes. That kind of puts people in the group. I know if somebody sends me a connection request and they have a dot in front of their name, it's like, oh, they've listened to my podcast or they've listened to my session. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can follow me there. That gives you an idea of how to stay on top. It's linkedin.com/bliss. I could have had Richard Bliss. I was very early 20 years ago. I don't know why I didn't do it. I just picked Bliss. So works for me. LinkedIn.com/Bliss. You can follow me there, send me a message, or if there's anything I can do, that's the best way to find me.
So thanks for your time. Richard is somebody who we trust and value his voice on these topics. We've learned over the years. We've known you for a few years now.
Yes.
You have this unique way of just really breaking through the noise and laying it out to some real basics that people can do and see results.
That's
results in their reach, but no more than that, results in just connecting and getting business leads. And you tell some great stories about how to do that. And so I encourage people to look you up and follow you. And thank you for being a guest here. We really appreciate it.
Paul, it's always a pleasure. You got to have me back so we can talk more about this.
We will, definitely. Anytime you want. As I said, we could do hours on this.
And, hours and hours.
We've only really touched barely on the surface today.
That's so true.
So, all right. Thanks, Richard. You can view Richard's prior presentations along with our other previous speakers on our webinar series at modernideasforbusiness.com. That's modernideasforbusiness.com. We have YouTube, podcast, and our webinars. Like, share, and subscribe.